So I'm going to go to the second method, and this is the drag and dropping the assets inside Unreal Engine 4. But take note that for this, we will have to reconnect the material functions, and also we'll have to drag it in the Explorer. So the Explorer is basically the file locations that your current project is. So for example, let's say we have this demo scene file and we have this particular project. So what you guys can do is, in the folder itself that you guys will see in the files, you can just copy all these new assets or Unreal Engine assets inside of this content browser, and you can paste it in here, right? Make sure that the version that you guys are using, the version should be version 4.23. Anything lower than this, the triplanar is a bit different. Okay, so what you can do is, we need to set this up. We need to come to our material. What you see is these functions are actually broken, or these right now you will see them as unspecified function. So this in fact means that this function is broken up. So under this unspecified function, you just need to replace it with the correct one. So I'll start off with the top material here. So I can come to this guy, just drag this to the side and say, just make sure that you know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options are there. So there's a triplanar detail and triplanar function. There's a mask edge and so-called material function mask. So just one material mask function, we just want to come over here and replace it with material mask function. And what we need to do is just drag these guys in their specific places. So that's one. The second one is we replace the mask edge function. So we can see there's a material function mask edge. So we do that for the result. We take this as our final normal map, dot normal map, contrast, and some blend edge color. Then we have a couple of other guys, which are namely the detail triplanar and the material function triplanar. Now the reason why I made it a triplanar is so that the nodes are much more easier to read. So what we see is there's a unique base color. So we select all the uniques, in this case the unique normal, the ambient occlusion, roughness, metallic, material function triplanar, and we select all of them and we say material function triplanar. And what is this? We just need two inputs. One is a texture object and one is our normal UVs. We drag this to a true and false statement, that only if we want to use it, only if we tick mark this guy, that's when it will be used. Now in this case there seems to be a wrong input. I think I'll correct this in the materials I give you guys. So let me just drag and drop these guys. So I need a triplanar projection. It should actually be only triplanar and not detail triplanar. So I'll just fix that very quickly. So what I had is, I had a slight mistake where I had a triplanar projection in the ambient occlusion, roughness, metallic. I had a detail triplanar projection, but actually it should be a triplanar projection. So underneath the detail ambient occlusion and the detail normal map, which are here, I'm going to replace these guys as material function detail triplanar. So these are my normal UVs, these are my texture objects, and the result is underneath the true. Same for these guys, it's texture object and normal UVs. This one is true. Now sometimes, or most of the time at least, if you guys are dragging and dropping inside your materials, you will have to see that you may have to replace these material functions. So this should work perfectly fine for now. And once everything is set up, we just need to check these places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 will be replacing the mask function. 7 will be replacing the mask edge function, right? And this should do the trick. Okay. Take note that all the black and white files here, at least opacity map, ambient occlusion map, all these files in the future are actually linear color. That means they're based on sRGB is off, and we have to make sure that we just know the correct inputs of our files. Okay, so that should conclude importing it inside, or at least dragging and dropping it inside. It should work perfectly fine, right? I'll just make sure that the file that is there, which is this one, in this case, this is my Unreal Engine. I'm going to just save this file. I'm going to replace it with the previous one. So let's say this is the completely new file. This is the one that I'm just going to make sure that I pass you guys this file. The mistake that I found is corrected. All right, so that should be the drag and dropping inside. Now this is a very rare case, or at least it's rare that it gets connected. I just happen to experience both. So I'm just warning you guys that if you guys ever see an unspecified so-called material function, these are the places where you can change them, which is mask editor, that's 1, 2, which is the top material, that's 2, 3 is for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 other guys. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 material functions to replace, and then the master material should work out pretty well.